This is Mr. Whaley, and okay, just I need to bring it to your attention that one of our objectives is to demonstrate safe practices. And to do that, we need to make sure our mind is right when investigating death and crime, and we need to listen for others who might be in trouble as well. So just remember that's a communal responsibility. It's a responsibility for ourselves, and I trust that you will do that, and that's why we are investigating these crime scenes that are quite grisly, and we're looking at them in dioramas. So I want to imagine you are at this crime scene for real. This is perfectly drawn to scale. It is 1 inch here in this diorama equals 1 foot in real life. Everything is made just exactly like the crime scene was. This is back before it was standard for pictures to be taken at crime scenes, and it didn't happen very often. So in this case, Frances Glessner Lee handmade these. There's some hands-on learning right there, and so she took great care in making these properly, in asking questions of medical doctors, and building this system to help investigators get better at investigating crimes. You'll see these numbers on here. So imagine yourself going to a crime scene like this and how you're going to find out what really happened, and how you're going to collect evidence, and how you're going to come to conclusions that explain what you think happened. Reflect and review on what we've done on day 1 and day 2 of our project work for our Nutshell project, our first-hand investigation. First-hand because you are the one making the observations, collecting the data. You're the one planning, with guidance from me, planning your procedure for how you will investigate these crime scenes. And you'll also learn a bit about the history of forensic science, in as far as what motivated and how did things get up off the ground, as far as organizing the application of science to crime scenes. But I just want to focus on day 1 and day 2 of what your work in progress should look like. Originally this was in red, the text was in red, and in my class you show that you have read instructions by bluing them. Key words here relating to the scientific method. Anytime you feel lost, just think back to the scientific method and ask yourself, where am I in the scientific method? So this is an investigation project that is firsthand. You know that from the title here. The Nutshell studies are what we're using. This student on day 1 chose the 3-dwelling room, or the 3-room dwelling. That's one of the Nutshell projects. They weren't able to answer this until they began their second-hand research to understand what are these nutshell studies. But as a class, we all had one defined question, one driving question that was the same: what happened? But in science, it doesn't matter what happened or what we think happened, as much as how do we know that's what happened, and what could explain what we think happened. So these 3 questions, in general, we're all answering for our crime scenes, but we just keep those in mind. We're not going to jump to any conclusions about that at this point. That we're just clarifying that question, clarifying the problem. And then this next row, I've put in here, these are objectives. These are learning targets. So these are the verbs that you need to be practicing as far as your thinking. What are your thoughts need to be critically thinking about? You're thinking about, is this hypothesis testable? Is it something that can be supported by evidence, observational evidence? Are my professional practices, are they working toward personal and team goals every day? This says exit ticket below. Heads up, you're from your teacher. That's how you're going to show me that you're doing that. And you're going to tie this demonstration of your working toward goals with your knowledge of hypotheses. You're going to record at the bottom if that's what you've done. Your planning and conducting of descriptive investigations. Did you describe some data? Then use some of these words here when you write your progress tracker on your team goals or personal goals. collect, organize qualitative and quantitative data using tools such as computers, models, and diagrams. All this in this cell there are verbs there that you can use to describe the nature of your investigation. These are words you can put on a resume someday. These are words that you need to put in your self-tracker so that you can get credit for your project work. Now, we did secondhand background knowledge, so I'm going to pretend I'm this student. Oh, I am, Max Whaley. Day 1, work in progress nutshell. After we've clarified the question or the problem, we've thought about what kind of thinking is this going to require along the different parts of this project. And then we say, well, what do we already know, or what kind of secondhand research do I need to do? And Mr. Whaley gave us guidance on this. Here's a summary in a paragraph, and here's a guided steps of research. You'd never need to limit yourself to this, but consider time-wise, like your teacher has considered, a 2-minute introduction, a good start. Then browse something on Wikipedia that's not a source, except it's mostly helpful to get a basic idea, and also an alphabetical list of the 3D nutshells, the dioramas, so you can refer to that list when you're making your choice. And then listen and view close-ups of nutshells. Look at that. I just saw a shortcut. That's the kind of close-up that you can look at. If you click on that, you can listen and look at close-ups. Explore 4 rooms. This has another 4 rooms. You can see the details. Then there's a 1-hour documentary that has, so you can pause it on those parts of the video that have more information about the room that you're investigating, as well as just the internet. I've had students, there were rooms that I've told students, like, you're gonna have to pick a different room. I don't think you'll find anything on that room. And they said, no, we'll be all right. And sure enough, they found documents online that were actual documents in inventories of evidence from that crime scene. So even things that they couldn't see in the picture, they were getting that kind of evidence. So this is your chance to show your investigative skills when things are hard, if you want. Or look, I chose the 3-room dwelling. There's a lot of pictures of that one. It's a bit of shock factor with it. What is the question or problem I want to investigate? I want to find out what happened in a nutshell 3-dwelling room, or 3-room dwelling. That's that one. Good. So I've done that. And have I formed hypotheses? I believe I gave directions to not jump to that conclusion yet. So collect some evidence first before we jump to that. There could be a number of possibilities. What is my planned procedure? I'm telling you to research your room, examine that dwelling room. Oh, and this student, I forgot. The 3-room dwelling, I put that in there. List at least 7 items in my data table and recognize what type of clue each is. So let's say that's as far as we get on day 1. That's as far as we got. We probably could turn the rest of these red, even though I did read them. I might leave them red because for the student, that helps you keep track and you scroll back up and see where you're at. So I'm going to come down to the first column in the table because that's where I'm at. Shotgun with string. Is that in this crime scene? I can't remember. Let me go like this and Google that. Three-room dwelling. Let's see. 3-room dwelling nutshell. There are some images that are coming up. I'm just going to look. There's multiple rooms for the 3-room dwelling. Now, some of these I'm not sure they match the 3-room dwelling, so I'm going to want to confirm things like that. But this is definitely, I know from enough research and the other sites, this is definitely the 3-room dwelling. And from there, I see a few different clues. Two of the clues I see right away are 2 bodies. So I'm going to say, and there's a blood pattern. So I'm seeing 3 different clues. There's also this blanket. That's kind of curious. There's a body on a pretty big blanket that's laid out. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to quickly list the basic evidence. I'm going to say body face down on floor of bedroom. That's a bedroom. Might be another one. Bedroom 1 maybe, just in case. And then I'm going to look back at that body. I don't know what questions I want to ask about it. Maybe why face down? Why on floor? Why on blanket? Okay, so I've got, now I don't need to do that right away. I can kind of list my items of evidence, but if I were working with a teammate, that might be a good thing. If they could kind of run through these questions and do a little research on what commonly or usually does that mean. Body face down, on floor, on blanket. Observational location type evidence. What is that? What type of evidence is it? I've got a handy little link here. 5 common clue types. Clues from observation. I can read this paragraph and look closely. Initial observation, a broken window, forced entry, smashed furniture. That could be, some of that could be. We'll focus on just the body and the position of the body. There's blood, there's trace evidence. I wonder if there could be DNA under the fingernails. Trace, there's definitely blood. Impressions, fingerprints on the body. Wait, location, what's this? Location and position. I think I'm going to say location. Back to my... this one I'm definitely... I think it is observational, but I think the way I'm looking at it right here, I'm going to focus on location type. And then blood spatter. Well, I can keep that the same. That's just like somebody else's study. Blood spatter. And then I can work on those questions, or I can go to the other body there. And I could say the body that's in the bed, and I could describe that. So now I want to look at kind of what would the end of day 1, if that's as far as I got. I only got 2 down. Then down here in the self tracker, this is where we put like our achievement of our personal goals or our team goals. So I would put on the date 9/14, and here's kind of like a preliminary outline, like what I had in mind. These are kind of my goals. I wanted to finish, I wanted to do some research, I wanted to do some choosing of my room, and I wanted to list some evidence. So I can say, now this student example is in, it was a team. I'm going to do mine. I'm going to say I researched, I might even say I read instructions, researched, and chose 3-room dwelling by following links and image searching, right? So image searching. I also listed 2, did I list 2 clues? Yeah, sure, 2 clues, that's what I did. And wrote 4 analysis questions. Okay, so I didn't list all of them, but I'm just writing down what I actually did. Next, I want to list 5 more clues and identify their types. Okay, and let me see what the other student said. Forming analysis questions to figure out explanations for what happened. Oh, I love that part. They know the purpose, so they're recording. That's like a personal goal, right? They're heading toward that goal. That's really good. It might be a little better than mine in some ways. Also, I didn't put 2. I want 2 list. So what you're doing here, you're fulfilling those objectives we had at the top. Working toward goals. You are planning and conducting descriptive. We're describing the crime scene. We're organizing our data. We're looking at models. And we're analyzing. We're writing questions in order to analyze. That's as far as we got today. So those are some of those verbs that we could have used in our self-tracker for day 1.